after TarajiPHenson shot The Color Purple, which was released on the 27th of October 2023. She decided to go head-to-head with the powers that be and let it all out, announcing that she was done being taken advantage of and done being quiet about the fact that she was being stolen from. The accusation? Taraji claims that she has yet to get a pay increase since 2018, and that she's had to fight tooth and nail to get fair pay in every role she has gained since. How does someone like Taraji, who has always played a strong black woman character, end up in this position? And what does Oprah have to do with it? She isn't the one who decides the paychecks, right? Well, it's a whole lot more complicated than they let on. Let's find out what Hollywood did to this woman. If you want more analysis on what's happening in Black Hollywood just like this, click the subscribe button and the notification bell to stay updated and get all the good stuff from one objective source. Taraji is a Hollywood superstar. She has insane talent and gives every role her absolute all. That's what makes it so hard to believe that it's even possible to underpay her. She just gets more and more popular and has plenty of star power. Someone like that should have a pretty high pay that gets higher as she moves to more productions, right? Not right, well, at least according to literally every production that's hired her since 2018. Taraji has done 9 films, 20 television appearances, 2 documentaries, and 2 music videos since 2018. To not have been paid more than she was in 2018 would mean every single movie and television performance she did in the past 6 years, 31 in total, came out to less than $150,000 each. These estimates don't even factor in taxes, management, and labor costs. Many people don't know this, but once you're a big enough actor like Taraji, you're a walking business. There are additional bills she has to pay for every little thing in her career, and that's not even factoring in the bills she has to pay for living, just like you and me. She went on record to say that after her pay comes in, nearly 80% of it would go directly into all the fees it takes for her to even be able to do her job, leaving only 20% to live on until she gets another role. No wonder why she's so tired and says she works so hard. In multiple interviews, she breaks down into tears when explaining her financial situation. In an interview with Gayle King, she says, "That's why I have other things. Because this industry, if you let it, it'll steal your soul. But I refuse to let that happen." From the numbers, we can tell that there was not a single lie. If she really hasn't gotten a pay increase, Taraji has been getting robbed in broad daylight for the past 6 years. I know I'd be mad too. But for Taraji, this isn't just about her own pay. While it's perfectly acceptable for her to be advocating to get her own, what she cares about even more is how devastatingly similar this treatment is amongst a lot of black women in Hollywood. She wants to change that. This entire struggle has weighed very heavily on Taraji and her conscience. However, the responses to her outcry have ranged from full support to concern about how she chose to present the problem. Remember, this was during a press tour for the movie she was starring in. Why would Taraji want to attract bad press like that? Couldn't she have just waited? When she first made her claims, she stated that she almost didn't take the role because the offer Oprah first gave her was downright disrespectful. She had to fight with her agent to get it up to $150,000. Taraji believes that for a movie that will probably make hundreds of millions, she deserves to get paid way more than that. Allegedly, Oprah's first payment proposal was around $75,000. Taraji and her team fought it towards $150,000, despite their initial ask being $500,000. That means Taraji walked away with nearly a fifth of what she thought she was worth. In other interviews, Taraji claimed the first time that she got real pay for her acting was when she got $500,000 to do a Tyler Perry film. However, since then, getting the pay she deserves has been an uphill battle. Just as soon as the ball rolls up the hill to a new point, it rolls all the way back down again. She had to prove herself from the very start. There has been a lot of suspicion about whether or not Taraji and Oprah were on good terms after all of Taraji's statements. It's worth being a little frustrated that Taraji chose to do all of this during the press tour for the film they wanted to succeed so badly. However, Oprah, on many occasions, has denied that this has left any bad blood between the two. Taraji described Oprah as being a beacon of light to her during the whole debacle. When asked about the exact metric herself, Oprah talks about show business and production, stating that the pay for everyone isn't perfect and that the studio was in control, not her. This leaves a lot in the air. Taraji's claims did come out of nowhere. According to her, she was majorly lowballed. So, who was in charge of deciding what pay was to be paid to the actors? Is Oprah purposefully making that information seem complicated to direct blame away from herself? Well, yes and no. The Color Purple had 4 producers, including Quincy Jones, Steven Spielberg, and Scott Sanders. In a way, Oprah is right. She was not independently responsible for pay, so she only had as much power as they gave her. The film was also distributed by Warner Bros. Pictures, leaving another room full of higher-ups who may have been to blame. In the weeks since her statements, Taraji has left a storm in her wake. It's a well-known fact that Hollywood underpays actors who don't have star power in general. But Taraji's case is different, because she's a time and time again proven talent, with the Academy Award win to back her. But without the exact numbers to see how her pay on each film and television appearance measures, the only thing people can do is take her word for her claims. After all, she made a systemic critique about how she believes Hollywood underpays black actors in general. For this statement to have any power, she not only has to speak up about it, but also have support from other actors and suggest how this can be prevented in the future. But that begs the question, what does Taraji want to happen? At some point, Taraji claimed that because of the way the industry has been treating her, she's been considering just quitting acting for good. She doesn't see much of a light at the end of the tunnel, which is why she continues to fight so much. Taraji says she's trying to set an example for other black women coming up in the industry. She wants them to know that they can be public about it when they get disrespected in the same way she has. Hollywood makes more money when they treat actors the same way Taraji was. It may just be that the projects she worked on undermined her skills on purpose to save a few pretty pennies. In a Variety interview, Taraji says, "After Empire, see, 'cause it was proving my worth. I think the industry knew I was talented. They got that part, but it's about money. It's about, are you bankable? Can you open a film? Will I get what I put in this film back, you know? So, I had to continuously prove that. And it's like, I've just been trying to prove it and prove it. That's why I work so hard. But why does someone who worked on Empire and won an award for her outstanding acting in that role have to prove themselves? The entirety of Hollywood is well aware that she's talented and bankable, because she has proven it already before. This tactic of gaslighting actors into believing that they're the only ones convinced they're worth anything makes the studio a lot of money, because that way they can save on labor costs. Luckily, Taraji never let this gaslighting go to her head. Another desire Taraji may have is to make actors aware of this phenomenon so that they can recognize when they're being undervalued to save money for the production. More actors will now understand that what's happening to them is unacceptable and that they are being gaslit and need to put their foot down and affirm their worth. But does she expect that public self-advocacy will result in better pay for herself as well as other black actors in the future? Or is Taraji speaking the truth for truth's sake? Even though it may not have been well-timed, if Taraji is speaking the truth, then it was well and good that it all came out. However, plenty of people are lost as to where she expects these claims to go and what impact she hopes they will have. Bringing awareness to the issue is important, but what does Taraji's call for awareness come with? People can be aware of something and allow it to persist. Even though the case can be made that more actors will try not to fall prey to these skeevy tactics, Taraji herself said in the Variety interview, "I was never in a position where I could not take a job. It's just by the grace of God. They have all been really good characters to sink my teeth in, but it was never a situation where I was like, I'm not going to do that. Now, I'm finally there 20 years later. I'm finally to the place where I can go, oh, you know what? I feel like I've done that or they're not paying enough. I'm finally there." While this is good for Taraji, many actors aren't at that point in their careers. No matter how successful they can't afford to turn down any roles because of how little they're being paid. It seems that Taraji's advocacy may be more useful in the hands of other actors in the same position as her. Here's another video on Black Hollywood that you'll like. If you support Taraji, comment why down below. What do you think the results of her actions will be?